A beautiful morning to you out there. Esteemed listeners, you are very much welcome to Carnival Radio Breakfast Show. This is a beautiful Friday morning, and this is newspaper review on Carnival Radio Enjoyment Limited Station. I am Ibrahim Adebayo. We begin the newspaper review with the headlines in the newspaper. 2025 budget. Federal government of Nigeria to borrow 13.8 trillion naira. Federal government approves 2.2 billion US dollar external borrowing. Oil earning may hit 6.9 trillion naira monthly as productions rises. Allege 110.4 billion naira fraud. EFCC grants bails to Yaya Bello, co-defendant. EKEDC denies extorting customers over ongoing STS 2-meter upgrade. Now the news in detail. 2025 budget. Federal government to borrow 13.8 trillion naira. The Federal Executive Council (FEC) yesterday approved a budget proposal of 47.9 trillion naira for the 2025 fiscal year and borrowing of 13.8 trillion naira. The Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagudu, disclosed this while briefing State House correspondents at the end of the council meeting presided over by President Bola Tinubu at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. The approval is part of the medium-term expenditure framework (MTEF) and fiscal strategic paper for 2025 to 2027 by the Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2007. The framework is expected to be submitted to the National Assembly as required by law, either on Friday or Monday. Bagudu outlined several key parameters that will guide the 2025 budgets based on the economic projections and government priorities. And these include a projected gross domestic product (GDP) growth rate of 4.6% for 2025, an oil price benchmark of $75 per barrel, and an exchange rate of 1,400 to $1. Additionally, the government anticipates oil productions at 2.06 million barrels per day. In terms of fiscal strategy, the budget assumes that the government will borrow approximately 13.8 trillion naira, about 3.87% of the GDP, to fund key infrastructure projects and economic initiatives. Bagudu emphasized that this borrowing is part of the strategic plan to balance government spending with sustainable debt management. The minister further noted that the Nigerian economy is showing signs of resilience, with 3.19 growth rates recorded in the second quarter. This growth rate is expected to continue through 2025, driven by efforts to tackle inflation and stabilize the key economic sector. For more details on the news, you can visit the Vanguard newspaper. 2025 budget. Federal government to borrow 13.8 trillion naira. Federal government approves 2.2 billion external borrowing. The Federal Executive Council yesterday approved 2.2 billion external borrowing plan. This is part of the federal government external borrowing program for the 2024 Appropriation Act. The Finance Minister, Mr. Wale Edun, told State House correspondent at the Federal Executive Council meeting at Aso Rock Villa, Abuja. The financing initiative will be combined. We combined Eurobond and Sukuk offering estimated at 1.7 billion US dollar and 500 million US dollar respectively to reinforce Nigerian fiscal stability, said Edu, adding that the result of the federal government economic reform qualified Nigerian for the international capital market financing. He said that the final allocation between these financial instruments will be determined based on the market conditions and advice from transaction advisor pending National Assembly approval. He added that earlier this year, Nigeria's successful domestic issuance of dollar bond highlighted the growth, resilience, and sophistication of the country's financial market, attracting both local and international investors who showcased confidence in the federal government economic reform. These external financing initiatives align with the administration's broader economic recovery plan, focused on stabilizing microeconomy condition, adjusting market pricing for foreign exchange and petroleum products, and supporting local productions, as stated. Wale Edun explained further that those key prices and those situations have been achieved, particularly as of October, to where we had once again in Nigeria local refinery of petroleum products that paved the way for the completion of what was started on May 29, 2023, which was to correct the macroeconomic imbalance that were in the country. The federal government also approved a 400 billion real estate investment fund, which it says will revitalize long-term mortgage financing and tackle Nigerian massive housing deficits. The fund, introduced by the Minister of Finance, Incorporated, will make affordable long-term mortgage available to Nigerians, significantly easing access to ownership and supporting the completion of millions of housing units. Edu told State House correspondents in Abuja, supported by the government seed funding and long-term investors. Wale Edu said the MOFI fund promises to reduce mortgage rates and extend loan tenure, creating an economic ripple effect by stimulating the housing sector, generating jobs, and encouraging private investment. For more details on the news, you can visit the Punch newspaper. Federal government approves 2.2 billion US dollar for external borrowing. Oil earning may hit 6.9 trillion naira monthly as production rises. The federal government is said to earn about 6.99 trillion naira monthly from the oil sector as Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, in collaboration with stakeholders, has raised crude oil production to 1.8 million barrels per day. The average price of Brent, the global benchmark for crude oil in 2024, is around $81 per barrel. This is slightly lower to the 2022 price of $101 per barrel, but relatively stable compared to 2023 price of $82 per barrel, by producing 1 MBPD at an average price of $81 per barrel. The country will rake in for 114.5 $0.8 million US dollar in 30 days. This translates to 4.37 US billion dollar at a moderate fiscal rate of 1,600 per dollar. This gave 6.99 trillion naira, which is the estimated amount that the federal government may earn monthly due to the latest rise in oil outputs. The achievement in oil outputs hike was announced by NNPC Group Chief Executive Officer Mele Kyari during a meeting at the Oil Production War Room at NNPC headquarters yesterday in Abuja. The meeting, presided over by the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Enike Lopobiri, was attended by the chairman of NNPC Limited Board, Chief Pius Akiyelure, the company GCEO Kyari, Chief Financial Officer Mr. Adedapo Shegun, Executive Charge Chairman, Vice President Downstream Mr. Isaku Abdullahi, Executive Vice President Upstream Odobong Itia, and Chief Upstream Investment Officer of NNPC Upstream Investment Management Service Mr. Bala Wute, among others, during an interactive session with the Senate Committee on Finance at the National Assembly in December last year. The GCEO assured that the projections on crude oil production and price benchmark for the 2024 budgets were realistic and realizable. The company also said it's now produced 7.4 billion standard cubic feet of gas to power the gas infrastructure, especially the AKK. This is an improvement from 6.1 billion standard cubic feet of gas earlier this year. The NNPC noted that the accomplishments, which align with the government budget, reflect the dedication of all of its teams over the week. Speaking at the meeting, the Chief Production War Room Officer Lawan Musa said, with the leadership of NNPC collaborating with stakeholders, particularly its partners and government and private security agencies and communities, were able to move the production to active collaboration within the system and external engagements and alignment with the regulators. He added that NNPC is fully aligned and committed to delivering greater value and committed to delivering 2 million barrels by the end of the year. This, he said, is possible and achievable. For more details on the news, you can visit the Punch newspaper. Oil earning may hit 6.9 trillion naira monthly as production rises. Alleged 110.4 billion naira fraud. EFCC grants Yaya Bello bail. Co-defender Yaya Bello co-defender bail. The Economic and Financial Crime Commission has granted administrative bail to two men, Umaru Oricha and Abdul Salami Udo, charged with former governor of Kogi State, Governor Yaya Bello, for allegedly diverting the state fund. The EFCC advised a 16-count charge against Bello and the two other defendants alleging criminal breach of trust to the tune of 110.4 billion naira. At the mention of the case yesterday before a high court of the Federal Capital Territory, Maitama, lawyer to the EFCC, Jamiu Agoro, said the order of the court given on October 3 in issuing public summon against Bello had not lapsed. Agoro confirmed that EFCC has granted an administrative bail to Richard and Udu, the second and the third defendants. He added that in that wise, we feel it will not be appropriate for us to take proceeding while that 30 days is still running. The FCC lawyer said the November 20 date earlier given by the court was not convenient for the prosecution. He urged the court to grant an application to issue a hearing notice to serve on Bello, the first defendant who was absent in court, and for the notice to be pasted in his last known address. Original lawyer Aliyu Zanki SN confirmed that his client had been granted an administrative bail by the prosecution, saying he was not objecting to the application for an adjournment. Udu's lawyers Z.E. Abbas also confirmed the bail grant to his client and agreed to prosecution request for bail, ruling Justice Mariyanin Anine granted the request for an adjournment and ordered the issuance of hearing notice to be pasted on the last known address of the first defendant and on a conspicuous place in the court premise. Justice Anene adjourned till November 27 for hearing the case, when Bello is expected to be present in court. For more details on the news, you can visit The Nation newspaper. Alleged 110.4 billion fraud. EFCC grants bail to Yaya Bello, co-defendant. EDC denies extorting customers over ongoing STS 2-meter upgrade. The management of Eco Electricity Distribution Company, EKEDC, has denied extorting customers over the ongoing STS 2-meter upgrade. It insisted that the program was free for its customers. The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, had on Wednesday warned the distribution company, DISCO, to cease all activities related to the planned replacement of Unistar meters, having noticed that some operative requesting money from unsuspecting citizens for upgrade. EKEDC has restated that the STS 2-meter upgrade is free, and as such, no citizen should offer any financial gratification or any other form of gratification to anyone in the process of upgrading their meter to the STS2 platform, and had earlier announced a deadline for customers to switch all meters to STS2 platform to continue recharging their meter. The publication of EKEDC stated that their attention has been drawn to the activities of some unscrupulous members of the society demanding payments for the STS 2-meter upgrade process, while informing customers and the general public that the STS 2-meter upgrade is free, and EKEDC will not make demands of anyone to pay for the upgrade. The statement issued by Director Corporate Affairs FCCPA Ondaje Ijagwe stated that contrary to the recent rumor, the approval of new meter prices by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission NERC has no connection with the proposed replacement of Unistar's meter by Ikeja Electric and EKEDC, adding that the planned replacement had been invalidated by both FCCP and NERC, and there is no indication that the affected DISCO have breached our directive. It added that it is essential to clarify that Ikeja and Eco DISCO cannot proceed with the withdrawal or replacement of Unistar meter unless they fully comply with NERC order on structured replacement of faulty and obsolete end-user customers' meter in the Nigerian electricity supply industry. The order, according to the statement, mandated that meter replacements must be prompt without disrupting service at no cost to the customers and ensuring that customers are not subjected to estimated billing due to delay in installation. For more details on the news, You can visit the Daily Post newspaper. EKEDC denies extorting customers over ongoing STS 2-meter upgrade. Before we bring the newspaper review to a close, these are the headlines again. 2025 budget, federal government to borrow 13.8 trillion naira. Federal government approves 2.2 billion external borrowing. Oil earning may eat 6.6 trillion naira monthly as production rises. Alleged 110.4 billion fraud. EFCC grants bail to Yaya Bello co-defendants. EKEDC denied extorting customers over ongoing STS 2-meter upgrade. And that ends the newspaper review on Carnival Radio, your enjoyment unlimited station. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to us. You can download the new Carnival Media app from the Google Play Store and iOS App Store. You can as well listen to us live via www.carnivalmedia.ng. My name is Ibrahim Adebayo. Do enjoy the rest of your morning.